Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Monica. I like to post anti-MLM life and some true crime content here on this channel. So if any of that interests you, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to stick around. In today's video, I am going to be talking about, if you looked at the title, some things to know if you're new to anti-MLM content or the anti-MLM community, some vocabulary that you should know, I guess, and why we say some of the things that we say, and just some information for you. But I do always encourage people to do their own research because maybe there's something that I haven't come across. I can sit here and try to give you as much information as I have, but at the end of the day, just like these MLM reps say, do your own research. Because if I'm going to sit here and say, don't get all of your research from an MLM rep because it's biased, don't get all of your information from me because I too am biased, because I'm against the structure, I'm against everything MLM related. So that's what this video is going to be about. So of course, just as a disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only and just my opinions. So let's just get into a few things. This is going to be broken down. This is probably going to be a really long video. But this is going to be broken down into different sections. A lot of the things I'm going to talk about in this video are questions that I get almost on a daily basis. I get a lot of these questions all the time, and I just wanted to make one video that has all of the information in it because as much as I love telling you guys and interacting with you guys, I get the same questions a lot. So I figure, why not just put it all into one video? So today there's going to be quite a number of things. We're going to start off with what MLM is. It stands for multi-level marketing, and it's a triangle-like structure. It gets compared to pyramid schemes a lot. However, as much as a lot of us do compare them to pyramid schemes, some people even call them pyramid schemes, just outright call them pyramid schemes. As the MLM reps say, pyramid schemes are illegal, while MLM companies, multi-level marketing, is not illegal. Personally, I don't find MLM companies ethical, and I do find them predatory. I don't agree with the structure of the business. But at the same time, just because something is deemed an MLM doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a pyramid scheme. Because the thing is that if you don't know what the FTC is, which we will go over the FTC for anyone watching this who is new to all of this, but the FTC has deemed a lot of MLM companies as pyramid schemes. A recent one, and I use this example all the time, is Advocare. They were deemed a pyramid scheme and they had to get rid of their MLM structure. Along with Herbalife, they had to restructure their business and provide refunds to a lot of their representatives. I talked about that in my Herbalife video. But that's the thing, is that they get compared to pyramid schemes a lot. Now, while pyramid schemes, yes, they are illegal, I do use this comparison as well, but substances are illegal. If you speed a mile over the speed limit, or a kilometer, if you're one of my out of the US viewers, that's illegal. You're breaking the law. So just because something is illegal, it doesn't mean that it's not happening. With that being said, the anti-MLM community is filled of many different people. There are people who are ex-MLM reps, and there are also people who have never been part of an MLM. They just don't agree with the business structure. A lot of us are sick of getting the hey girl or the hey hun cold messages that are just copied and pasted. So that's what the anti-MLM community is made up of. Are there some people that are more aggressive than others with the anti-MLM information? Yes, there definitely are. I don't agree with being aggressive. I do agree with kind of coming from a standpoint of kindness and coming from a standpoint of education, because as much as I don't mind confrontation, I mean, obviously I can't mind confrontation if I'm on the internet talking about I would say this is a controversial topic, but so I don't mind confrontation, but I do agree with having a civil conversation. So I did just want to put that out there. But anyway, a lot of these ex-reps and people who have never been part of an MLM, I do think that it is so crucial to have both of those groups of people in the anti-MLM community. The reason why is because a lot of times when an ex-MLM rep even just goes on YouTube or posts on their personal Facebook, we see this all the time. If they talk about how they don't agree with the MLM structure, and they're an MLM rep and they talk about how they lose their money or lost their money. I've talked about that. A lot of times MLM reps will say, well, you just didn't work hard enough. That's where the other side of the anti-MLM community comes in, with the people who have never been part of one and they just recognize that it's a bad structure. And on the flip side of that, a lot of MLM reps will tell those people, well, you don't understand because you've never been in an MLM before. Does that make sense? I hope I'm making sense. The next topic is the difference between pyramid schemes and MLMs. I kind of touched base on this already, but there is a few things that I didn't talk about. With pyramid schemes, they are all about recruiting, and I've talked about this. There's a video that I'm going to leave a bunch of videos linked in the description box, and I'll probably put cards up throughout the video talking about the whole pyramid schemes are illegal narrative and how to kind of almost combat that when you're approached by an MLM rep or a pro MLMer who says this to you. But anyway, pyramid schemes are all about recruiting, whereas multi-level marketing companies, they do have a product. They do sell a product. Some are less predatory than others, and there have been a few times on this channel where I have applauded certain MLM companies for what they've said or what they've done differently. For example, my video on Monday, I talked about Melaleuca, and I talked about how in their income disclosure statement, in their highest, I guess you could say tier or status, whatever, it says in there that they do not recommend you quitting your full-time job to do Melaleuca full-time. And there are times like that where I will applaud a company for saying things like that because it does make it seem less predatory. But again, it's an MLM. I don't agree with the structure. I don't agree with multi-level marketing. However, here's something that we always in the anti-MLM community kind of bring to the table as well, is while yes, MLM companies are legal, why is the emphasis so big on recruiting and having a team? The reason why is because you're going to make more money from recruiting. And we see this all the time. I've had so many MLM reps reach out to me and tell me that they just want to sell the product because they like the product. The product has worked for them. So I understand wanting to just sell the product. However, they all have said to me, I'm not making all that much money and I still have to keep a PV. And I'm seeing that the only way I'm going to make more money is if I start recruiting and building a team, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. I don't want to build a team. So the fact that there is such an emphasis on recruiting, the fact that almost all of the hey hun or hey girl messages that I've gotten over however many years that I've gotten these messages for, I want to say 99% of the time, it's, hey girl, I see your Instagram, or I see you on Facebook, or whatever the case may be, and I think you'd be a great addition to my team. I see that all the time. I rarely ever have people approach me who just want to sell me a product. And the fact that even the FTC says that over 99% of people, not 100%, but over 99% of people make little to no money. Some people even lose money when they get into an MLM. The FTC is a great resource for people who are thinking about joining an MLM, people who have been burned by an MLM, or whatever the case may be. So, of course, always check out the FTC. It is a legitimate source. Which brings me to the next topic. What is the FTC? FTC stands for Federal Trade Commission, and it is an independent agency of the United States government whose mission is to enforce the civil U.S. law and protect its consumers. A lot of reps I have seen say that they don't know what the FTC is. If you are an MLM rep who is watching this, I don't want you to get in trouble. I really highly recommend looking into the FTC and looking into the rules and regulations, because if you've stumbled upon anti-MLM content, you've probably already seen this before, but the FTC has started sending warning letters to MLM companies for income claims, for health claims, whatever the case may be. There's a ton of information out there about that, and I've talked about it previously. But if you're an MLM rep and you don't know what the FTC is, please look into it, familiarize yourself with it, make sure that you're not breaking any of the rules and regulations that they have set in place, because you can get into legal trouble if the FTC stumbles upon it, or if enough people report you to the FTC. There is a way to report individual MLM reps to the FTC. And when that happens, the FTC, they're going to go after you because you're the one that's making those claims. They might send a warning letter to the MLM company itself, but at the end of the day, you're on your own in that situation. The next topic, income disclosure statements. This is something you will hear mentioned a ton in the anti-MLM community. This is kind of one of our go-tos to just look at to see how much money are people actually making versus losing. How high do you have to be in the company, like how high ranking? I'm going to be completely honest. When I joined MLMs, I had no clue what an income disclosure statement was. I did not know what an income disclosure statement was until I became very, very vocal about being anti-MLM. I did not know that this existed, which shame on me for not doing my research, obviously. But I do feel a lot of times these MLM reps, they will reach out to people when they're at their most vulnerable state. A good example was with Mary Kay. I talked to my Mary Kay upline at the time, and really great saleswoman. I will give her that. She's a really good saleswoman. But when I talked to her, she was telling me about financial freedom. And because she got to talking to me and she found out that I had a ton of student loans, a ton of credit card debt, and this was a way for her to hook, line, and sinker me into the MLM company. But because I was in such a vulnerable state, I didn't even think to research, which of course is my own fault, but I didn't think to research because I was so desperate to get out of my debt, and it just packed on even more debt. But I had no idea that income disclosure statements existed. So what an income disclosure statement is just that. It's an annual income for specific ranks, but this does not include taxes, fees, expenses, none of that. Personal volume, none of that is included in this. So when you look at this income disclosure statement, it's before all of that. It's before everything else. It's just what they make from either the sales or bonuses, whatever the case may be. And sometimes make sure that you're reading the entire income disclosure statement. Make sure you're reading the fine print, because sometimes what a lot of MLM reps will say is, well, a lot of people just sign up for the discount. They just sign up as discount reps. So I don't know where they're getting these numbers from. The numbers are skewed because of that. Well, yes, that can be a possibility that the numbers are skewed because of the fact that there's a lot of discount people. I mean, when you join Beachbody, you can be a discount coach. You don't have to be an active coach who's trying to build a team. You can just join for the discount. So with that being said, when MLM reps say that to you, look at the fine print. Look and see. I talked about this in my Rodin and Fields video, I think over a month ago now, but I talked about it in that video where I did the math. It said on the income disclosure statement how many people in the company are discount representatives, or whatever they call them, consultants, whatever, and how many people are actually actively trying to build their business. So that's something to look at. Like I said, you might have to do the math, but some of that information is readily available to you. And most of the time when you look at these income disclosure statements, first of all, they're alarming. Second of all, because if the lowest income earnings are $16 a year, when you still have to pay for your starter kit, you still have to keep a PV. So yeah, it's a little concerning. And more times than not, you'll see on these income disclosure statements that the people in the top 1%, maybe for some companies, even the top 1 to 5%, they're the ones that are making the money. They're the ones that are making money off the backs of other people. And I do think I try to give MLM reps the benefit of the doubt and just give them Just sit there and think, well, maybe they're just a mom who's trying to make some extra cash. Maybe it's a college student who's in a really bad financial situation and they're just trying to make some extra money on the side. I don't think that they're all actively scamming. But there are bad apples in every single industry. So I am very well aware that there are some higher ups, maybe even some people who are just in the middle or at the bottom who are trying to build a team. But I do think that there are bad apples and there are people who are actively scamming a lot of their recruits, a lot of their downline. I also don't agree with a lot of CEOs that start these companies. If you look at, for example, Evera, the CEO of that company has jumped around from multiple different MLM companies, and there are a lot of complaints against him. There are a lot of people saying very negative things about him. Or if you look at the CEOs of LuLaRoe, for example, in my personal opinion, I do think that they're very sketchy. The next topic we are going to chat about is the bite model. A lot of times you'll hear people reference the bite model. You'll hear people compare MLM companies to cults and that kind of a thing. So the bite model is kind of where you can learn a little bit more about that. I will pop it up on the screen while I talk about it, but if you'd like, I will also leave a link below to just kind of look at it. I did a full-blown video about it, but the bite model was created by Steven Hassan, and he created this to be able to kind of see if something is worthy of possibly being deemed a cult. It's a way to measure if something does have cult-like similarities. And BITE stands for Behavior, Information, Thought, and Emotional Control. A lot of the bullet points in the BITE model, not all of them are going to apply to the MLM industry, but a lot of them can apply to the MLM industry. For example, exploiting you financially. How many times have we heard of MLM reps trying to pitch this whole financial freedom? Oh, if you want to make rank, just buy some more stuff, because some of these MLM companies, they do allow you to purchase your own products in order to make rank. That happened to me and Mary Kay. If I purchased a certain starter kit, I would have already started off at, I think it was, at the time, I think it was Sapphire. I can't remember 100%. But there's exploiting you financially. There's gaslighting. There's allowing only positive thoughts, love bombing, and so many more. How many times do we see, I've even had people contact me and tell me that when they were in the MLM, they were always told, you can only have positive thoughts, no negative vibes. You're not allowed to be negative, only positivity. That's the only thing that's allowed in this private Facebook group for my team, blah, blah, blah. Love bombing. When I was in Beachbody, the first few months, I did pretty well. I hit Success Club, and there was a lot of love bombing going on. My upline was constantly praising me and saying how, I made it to Success Club with these other people and how I'm so new at this, but I still made it to this, what can I say, status. So that happens, but the problem was with my upline, and this was one of the little things that went off in my head that I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. In that very same post of saying, hey, Monica and all these other people, they made it to Success Club, there was a very passive-aggressive paragraph after all of the love bombing saying, but all the rest of you really need to get back on your game. You really need to get into Success Club. You're really doing a bad job and blah, 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 blah. But I thought we were only allowed to have positive thoughts. But anyway, this happens. This happens behind the scene. And like I said before, while not every category or every bullet point, because every category does kind of apply to the MLM industry, but while not every bullet point is going to apply to it, there is a scary amount of things that do. I know I probably should have gone over this topic a little bit earlier in the video because I've already mentioned some of these terms, but anyway, sorry about that. This is kind of out of order, I guess you can say. But the next topic, some vocabulary to know in the anti-MLM community, because I have had plenty of people ask me this in my comment section, and either myself or other people who have seen it have responded with what it means. The first one that I get asked all the time is, what is a hunbot or what is a hun? Because a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people actually say like, oh, Attila the Hun, that kind of a thing. And no, it's not Attila the Hun. That's not what it is. The term hunbot comes from a lot of these MLM reps. They like to say, hey hun or hey girl in their messages. And a lot of them are very copy and pasted. A lot of them are robotic. So they almost seem like bots, which is where hun bot comes from. And that's the term that a lot of people call these MLM reps in the anti-MLM community. I kind of use the terms interchangeably. Sometimes I say MLM rep, sometimes I say hunbot, or whatever the case may be, because I have pro MLMers who watch me, and they have brought it to my attention that they really truly get upset with that term. And that's not my intention here in the anti-MLM community. My intention is to get my point across and to get my videos in the right hands and to help people who have lost money, for them to know that they're not alone, for them to know that the structure is a terrible structure. Now, while I understand that there are plenty of businesses out there that have terrible structures, that have terrible business practices, I'm very well aware, and that is an argument that I get a lot too. But the focus of my channel is predominantly MLM or anti-MLM related content, so that's why I talk mostly about that. But I do want to be able to respect other people who are watching me from the opposing side. So I do use that term interchangeably, but to any pro MLMers out there, if I say it in my videos, please don't take offense to it. Please don't think that I'm making fun of you or anything like that, because if anything, I would love to have a civil conversation with you. And I have. There's one person in particular, you know who you are, and she comments on a lot of my videos, and we've had civil conversations. She's in her MLM. She's actually successful in her MLM. But she appreciates seeing the other side. She appreciates to see where I'm coming from. And I think that that's where there's a major disconnect, because like I was saying before, a lot of people are more aggressive than others. That's not my approach. And while being aggressive isn't my style, like I said earlier, I'm more about coming from a different perspective. The aggressive works for some people, but it also doesn't work for others. And I want this place to be, I guess my channel, I want it to be a place of education and just informational content. I don't want to make this a back and forth, you know what I mean. But anyway, moving along, Upline. That's something else that you will hear a lot in the anti-MLM community or in the MLM industry as a whole. Your upline is basically your boss. That's the best way to put it. And so, for example, you have the upline here, and then the upline has their entire downline. The downline are, I guess you can kind of say, the upline's employees almost. That's the best way to put it. But there are plenty of uplines in the MLM business structure, because anyone who is above you, who is ranking above you, and if you're in their team, they are considered your upline. They are considered your boss. So when I say upline or my uplines from when I was in Beachbody, it's because I had someone who was directly above me, and then above her was another person, and then above her was another person. And we kind of had our own little team going with that. So when I say uplines, there are more than just one upline. Sorry, I said upline way too many times. Business opportunity. To me, this is almost a red flag. Whenever I see the term business opportunity, I automatically, it's an MLM. That's what goes on in my brain. Not all the time. A business opportunity isn't going to be an MLM every single time, because there are people out there that do say, I have a business opportunity for you. That's not an MLM. But these MLM reps, that is their go-to. That is what they say. They always say, I have this great business opportunity for you. You can make X amount of money in a month, which if they say that, that's an income claim that goes against the FTC or anything of that nature. They'll constantly try to make this seem exactly like what it sounds like, a business opportunity. PV stands for personal volume. That is for an MLM rep. It varies between each MLM company. So some you have to keep a higher PV, other people you have to keep a lower PV, whatever the case may be. But a PV is your personal volume. This is what you need to purchase from the company a month in order to stay active within the company as a representative or a consultant, or even sometimes if you're just doing it for the discount, you have to purchase a certain amount in order to be able to get that discount a month. BV is business volume. This term varies between each MLM company. BV can be something else, but business volume, if you ever hear it, it's how much your team has to make in a month in order for you to keep your rank. So it's not just to keep you active in the company, it's to hold your rank. The final one, I guess, we'll have this be the final one, Boss Babe. While this isn't just for MLMs, this is all over. One of you guys on Instagram had just sent me a post by Paris Hilton. She came out with Boss Babe merchandise. I don't think she's trying to shill an MLM. I think she just literally just created merchandise for, I guess you could say, women in business or whatever, because Boss Babe was not always about MLM companies. Now MLM reps have kind of adopted the term and they call themselves boss babes. I called myself a boss babe before I was in an MLM, before it got taken over by the MLM reps. But because, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of ruined the term for me, just like how they're starting to ruin social media. Because even with having in my profiles everywhere saying that I'm anti-MLM, I don't want to know about your business opportunity, I don't want to buy the products, I don't want to have anything to do with it, and even talking about how I have a channel about it, they still try to talk to me. Which is fine. If they want to try to pitch me, it's fine. I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, you're part of a pyramid scheme. I'm just going to say, no thank you, I'm not a huge fan of MLMs. And if they come back at me with being aggressive, then yes, I will give them education. I will follow up with a bunch of information for them to research, but I'm not going to sit there and be an a-hole because maybe they are making money. Maybe they are part of that top percentage of people who are successful. And those are the people that sometimes don't see what exactly is happening. A lot of top 1%ers, not the good girl. She's a perfect example. She was part of the top 1% and she's anti-MLM. So not all of the people at the top are bad people and are actively scamming. I do have to say that. But let's move on to the next topic, which is why are these businesses called predatory? The reason why we call it predatory is because a lot of these MLM companies, and this comes from the people in the office of the MLM company. This isn't just coming from the uplines or the teams of MLM reps. No, this is coming from higher up. They talk about how they empower women. They want to uplift women. They're all about women in business and that kind of a thing. Are there men in MLMs? Yes, there are. But it's predominantly, I would say it's predominantly women. And that's why a lot of women get targeted for these MLM companies. But they tend to talk about how they're trying to uplift and empower in this sisterhood. But in my personal opinion, this sisterhood is BS. It is non-existent. I have made a video about that before, talking about how you're only part of the sisterhood when you're making your upline money. That's the only time that you're part of the sisterhood. Are there some people who are still friends with people they were in, let's for example say Beachbody? Yes, it does happen where they're able to become friends even after the MLM. That wasn't the case for me, and it has not been a case for a lot of people that I know. So it does happen where they stay friends, but not everybody. But anyway, they tend to target women for this business opportunity. And what I don't like at all is, and this was said to me to do, to join Facebook groups and recruit people from those Facebook groups, to go to your friends' profiles and look at their friends list and request people from their friends list, search different hashtags. But what bothers me is when these people join chronic illness groups. I just had someone tell me this, that there was someone in a fibromyalgia group, there was someone in a lupus group who was actively trying to recruit from those groups. And I'm sorry, but as someone who does have a chronic condition, I have epilepsy in case you're new here. If someone were to come to me and tell me, and I've seen this said, that this is going to cure your seizures, girl, we would have a whole nother discussion. But the fact that they purposely go into these groups and they're told to go into these groups, I never went into the groups because I did not feel comfortable going into an epilepsy support group and being like, hey, do you want to join Beachbody? No, I'm not doing that. But they do this. They join these chronic illness groups to try and recruit people. And I don't agree with that. And I do find that very predatory behavior. But a lot of them will talk about, and I did this too, how when they started the MLM, they were not a good person. Or when they started the MLM, their life was so hard. And the MLM changed them. Personal development is a huge part of MLMs, which is why Rachel Hollis has been a huge, I guess, she's made a huge impact in the MLM industry. But if you look at most MLM reps, how was their life before? Was it good? Were they actively looking for an MLM to join? Are there people that do that? Yes. But more times than not, when you look at these MLM reps, before they started the MLM, they were a completely different person. And a lot of them will say that the MLM changed them. And it's just a marketing tactic. Now, while I do think that with these MLMs, there is a possibility for you to find your actual calling, whether it be, hey, I'm actually good at sales. Maybe I can start my own business. I do think that there are certain skills that you can pick up from the MLM. But a lot of these things are used more so for bad than they are for good. Editing Monica here. I forgot to mention that a lot of these reps also like to mom shame. So they'll say things along the lines of, well, don't you want to stay home with your kids? Or they'll almost shame you for having a career or even wanting a career. Sometimes they'll make stay-at-home moms feel bad for not, in quotes, contributing to the family or not contributing enough to the family. They do also like to target military wives because military wives are constantly moving around with their spouse and everything of that nature. So I did just want to add that in here before we move along to the next topic. Another thing that I don't agree with is the fact that they use financial freedom, time freedom, which these are income claims and goes against the FTC, but we see this all the time. We see them saying, I had a full-time job, I quit in order to do this business full-time. And I think that that is predatory because when do we ever, with a full-time job, for example, because I've never done this, but with a full-time job, when do you ever go on social media and say, I got a raise today and I make 6 figures? You don't say that. And with our business, I don't walk around telling people how much we make from our business or how, hey, let me recruit you because this is a good opportunity. The only time that you'll see them talking about this kind of stuff when it comes to finances is in an MLM. And they do it in order to recruit you. A lot of times they'll talk about their lifestyle and how they were able to stay home with their children. They were able to retire their husband. We see this all the time. And I do find that predatory because you're giving false hope to the people who are joining because they are at a vulnerable state and they will do whatever they possibly can when they don't know how much or how little, if anything, that you're going to make with these MLM companies. And this is from personal experience and the experience of a lot of people who have talked to me. This is not going to be everybody's experience, but there is a lot of indoctrination into these MLM companies. There is a lot of brainwashing that goes on behind the scenes. For me, it got to the point where when I was in Beachbody, I was told the typical, well, if someone doesn't support your business, get rid of them out of your life. If someone doesn't support what you're doing, or if they don't support you by buying the product, get rid of them. I'm sorry, but my mother, who doesn't want to drink Shakeology at the time, because obviously I don't do Beachbody, but my mother, who doesn't want to drink Shakeology, and even her doctor told her that she should not, I'm not going to get rid of her out of my life because she's not purchasing Shakeology from me. So I saw a lot of that happening, and I saw a lot of just when your upline said something, everybody else followed. And it was almost as if like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost as if they were all connected with the same brain. It's nobody really thought for themselves, and that's perfect in MLM companies because they don't want you to think for yourself. They don't want you to question someone's actions. They want you to just do what you're told, make the company money, and that's it. The next topic that we're going to move on to is how to spot if something is an MLM company. I get people ask me all the time, hey, is this an MLM company? If that is what you're asking me, I get that question a lot. This is the section for you to listen to. First and foremost, multi-level marketing is going to be basically the same structure in any MLM company. The only difference is that there's going to be different ranks. There's going to be different ways of getting to that rank. There's going to be different compensation plans. And in my opinion, some MLM companies are more predatory than others, but the structure is going to be the same. That's what makes it a multi-level marketing company, is that triangle-like structure. There are some red flags to look for when someone approaches you, or let's say that someone's talking about a company. There are certain red flags to look for that can kind of be a little bit of little ding, a little light bulb in your head of, maybe I should look into this company a little bit more. First and foremost, they say, I have an amazing business opportunity for you. We went over that. Another term that they like to use a lot is residual income, which is an income claim, goes against the FTC, but we hear a lot of times they say residual income. So that's another red flag to look for. I only have 5 spots available left. That is a lie. That is a complete and utter lie, because they do not have only 5 spots left. The reason why they say this whole I only have 5 spots available is to make it just FOMO. So fear of missing out. That's what they like to do a lot in these MLM companies. I was taught to do this because it'll make people act fast and join your challenge group or sign up with you as part of your team, your downline. So they have an infinite amount of spots. It's just a way to hype it up almost, I guess you could say. So when you see that, more times than not, it's an MLM company. The next one, PM me or DM me for details. They will always say this. I was told to do this as well, is you don't want to give all of the information out. You want to be able to have a separate conversation with this person in order to have more of a one-on-one and have it be more of, I guess you can say a little more authentic in a sense is the best way to say it. But it's not authentic. Let's be real here. I copied and pasted messages multiple times because I would have people comment on it and then I would individually message them. And when you have a ton of people commenting, it's very hard to keep up with it. But a lot of times when you see these posts, a lot of times you'll notice that the person's upline and their team is actually commenting on the post. So that's something that you'll see a lot too. But what they also like to do is instead of saying like, hey, I'm part of Unique, they'll almost never say the company name. Almost never say the company name. But let's say, for example, I'm part of Unique, okay? I'm trying to sell makeup, whatever Unique is selling now. And in order for me to not have the name be out there, I might make a separate Facebook page that says Makeup with Monica or something a little more creative, obviously, but I'm just off the top of my head. Makeup with Monica. And then I'll get people to come there, watch my live videos, or look at whatever skills I have, or look at whatever products I have, and then build that, I guess you could say, rapport with your viewers, and then give them the pitch of, hey, I have this 4D mascara, whatever it's called now, by Unique, and you should try it. I'm my own boss, or I'm a CEO of my own company. This is incorrect. There is a CEO already in charge of the company. So there's that. But another way that you can look up to see if it is an MLM, go on the Direct Selling Association's website and type it into that, and it'll pop up to show you if it is part of the Direct Selling Association. Also, Google is your best friend. I know that that's kind of, you might take it as me being a little bit nasty to say that, but I'm saying this genuinely, that Google is your best friend. What you can do is you could type in the name of it and see, and sometimes it'll even pop up as you're typing the name, is this company an MLM? Honestly, sometimes you just have to do a little bit of more digging in order to find out if something really truly is an MLM, because they're starting to get a little bit smarter with their wording. So for example, they call Evera reps influencers. They call Tory Bell reps affiliate marketers. It's not the same thing, but you'll hear that a lot in the industry. You'll hear it a lot. Moving along, is an MLM a franchise or a small business? No. First and foremost, the only time that they're actually considered a small business is where it hurts. So when it comes time to do your taxes, yep, that's when they're going to be considered independent contractor. That's when it's going to hurt. And that's when they're going to be considered their own. But the thing is that they don't have control over their products. They don't have control over their pricing. I've talked about this so many times, but here in our store, we can introduce a new product, or we can get rid of a product, and we don't have to follow by anybody else's rules. We don't have to check with anybody else. We can literally just take it off the shelf. But then there's the argument of, oh, it's a franchise. While there may be similarities between them, it's not a franchise. I've talked about this so many times, and I know that I'm a broken record, but if you take McDonald's, for example, that is a franchise. If there's a McDonald's across the street, they're not going to open one on the other side of the street, or on this side of the street, for example, because they do something called market analysis, and they do their research, and they see, is there market saturation in this area? Is this other McDonald's going to be profitable? Whereas with an MLM, market saturation doesn't matter, because the company is still making money off of those other people that join and make no money or lose money. That's why market saturation and a market analysis does not matter to these MLM companies. Which brings me to, are they affiliate marketers or influencers? The easy answer is absolutely not. I have seen an influx in them trying to say that they're influencers or that they're affiliate marketers and that it's the same thing. It's not. I made an entire video dedicated to this months ago. I will leave it linked below. But long story short, affiliate marketing is, you are an affiliate with a company, which, perfect example, this is the best time for me to be able to plug Savvy Writes Books and her small business, which is called Forever Home Friends. I'll leave a link in the description box because I'm an affiliate with Forever Home Friends. So whenever someone clicks on my affiliate link and shops, I get a percentage of commission off of that sale. But the great part is that I don't have to pay into it. I don't have to get recruited into a team. I don't have to create a team. I can just talk about it right now, leave the link in my description box, and not have to worry about another thing. I don't have to keep a personal volume every month. And that's what affiliate marketing is. Or, for example, you see people talk about my Amazon favorites all the time, which I do have that, but I haven't been really active with it. But you see people talk about my Amazon favorites a lot. That's affiliate marketing. If you purchase something from their affiliate link, they get a commission off of that. Or, this is very big in the influencer or blogger industry, and I do have this, but again, haven't been active with it, like to know it or reward style. That's another way of affiliate marketing, and it is a way for you to be able to make more money and more commission off of people who click your links. So if you ever see on Instagram, you'll see a like to know it link, that's what it is. It is affiliate marketing. The person who posted that or who gave you the link, if you purchase something, they'll make a commission off of it. But I do have to back it up just a little bit, talking about Forever Home Friends, because I did just want to say, with Savvy from Savvy Writes Books. It is her small business, and she creates, because she's an author, she creates children's books about real dogs, and she talks about social issues in those books. And then her mom, which I think is so adorable, helps her make the little plushies that come with it. And 10% of the proceeds of her sales and everything goes to local no-kill animal shelters in Chicago. So with that being said, let's move on to the influencer portion of this category. They are not influencers. Influencers are, I would honestly consider influencers their own business. With influencers or influencer marketing, whatever you want to call it, they get paid for their campaigns. Sometimes in the beginning, depending on if you're a micro influencer, and I'm talking about like really micro influencer, sometimes they will just agree to be able to get a free product and talk about it on their blog or Instagram or whatever. But I'll give an example of how in the past I've been able to make money off of these campaigns. So I worked with a third party, I guess you could say marketing agency, whatever. They were almost like the middleman. I did a campaign with Blue Bunny. I did one with Blue Bunny, and it's ice cream. If you don't know, it's ice cream. I pitched my creative idea to the third-party marketing company and came up with this really cute idea on how I can showcase the product, how I can create something that would be new or fun or whatever. They agreed to it because the actual company, Blue Bunny itself, said, yeah, I love that idea. That's a great idea. I created the campaign. There was I guess you could say kind of like a contract up front of, this is how much you're going to get paid. This is what we expect from you. And with influencers, if you don't agree with the contract or if you don't agree with the rate, you can tell them no thank you and walk away from it. That is a possibility. And if you are looking for a great book, I've talked about this in a previous video. Hold on, let me grab the book. This is a great book to read. Thank you, Ellen from Ask Away Blog, for sending this to me for Christmas. This is a great book to read if you're looking for something, if you're new to influencer marketing, or if you're looking for just more information on it. That's a great book to read. But I've talked about that for a very long time. Moving along to why I am anti-MLM and not anti-Hun. I made an entire video about this. I think the fact that me being an ex-MLM rep makes me look at a lot of these reps in a different light. A lot of the times people will call them flat out scammers. I don't think they're all scamming people. I don't think that they all realize what they're doing. And I don't think that they all know that the structure is not a good structure. The compensation plan is not a good compensation plan, or the ranking system that they have. And I was indoctrinated into the MLM. So I know that behind the scenes, sometimes you just don't realize what's happening. You don't realize because you're being fed all this information. You're being constantly love bombed by your uplines, and you're constantly taught to be positive, and toxic positivity is a thing. We talk about it in the anti-MLM community all the time. But that's the thing, is that a lot of times they don't even realize that they're doing it. So that's why I am anti-MLM, so anti-multi-level marketing, and not anti-Hun or hunbot. And I do have friends that are MLM reps. I do have people that watch me that are MLM reps, and they watch my videos to see the other side and to see why a lot of us are so passionate about creating this kind of content. So that's why I don't have a problem with the reps, especially if they're willing to have a civil conversation. I love it when I can have a civil conversation with some of these MLM reps, because they'll give me information about their MLM company that maybe I didn't know, because there's stuff that happens on the back end that the anti-MLM community won't know about unless you're part of the MLM. So that's why I don't have a problem with the reps. I have a problem with the reps that are just flat out scamming people, and the reps that are just being a-holes and are, don't get me wrong, there are some that I do have a problem with, but predominantly, majority of them I don't have a problem with. The next and final topic is, I guess, or are some things that I have an issue with the anti-MLM community. because I have seen this a lot, and I'm not saying that it's bad to do this or anything of that nature. This is just my personal opinion and just where I'm coming from. But I don't agree with Hun shaming. I don't agree with making fun of them for their appearance or anything of that nature, because I don't think that we should be attacking someone's appearance. I really don't think that that's right. And I don't think that making fun of them in a way where it does come off as bullying and being rude, I don't agree with that. While some people don't care, I mean, that's fine. That's on you. You do you. But I don't agree with Hun shaming. And I don't think that we should be making fun of them, because at that point, we're just as bad as they are, because they make fun of the anti-MLM community all the time. And I'm sure that they talk about us in their private groups. And why stoop to that level? Why would we want to become anti-MLM Huns? You know what I mean? And I don't agree with Hun baiting. That's something I don't agree with. I don't think that pretending to be a person who is actively looking to become part of an MLM, or someone who will purposely go out of their way to make it seem like they're interested just to get information and just to get content, I don't agree with that. I truly don't agree with that. And I'm not singling anybody out. I've seen a lot of it. I have. But because at the end of the day, first of all, you're wasting their time, okay? You're wasting their time, because they honestly do think that you want to purchase from them, or that you want to join their team. So you're wasting their time. Second of all, I don't agree with it because it's just shady behavior. I don't think that we should be actively going out and looking for MLM reps and pretending like we're interested. Maybe it's me. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But that's just my opinion. And also, I don't agree with attacking MLM reps right off the bat. If they attack you, that's different. If they come off as aggressive, that's a little bit different. You can try to diffuse a situation. I've seen plenty of people try to diffuse a situation, but the MLM rep is just so offended and so upset about it that they don't know how, at that point, to have a civil conversation. But perfect example. I've talked about her so many times in this video. I don't want to mention her name because I don't want anyone going to her channel and attacking her for being part of an MLM. But you know who you are because you comment on a lot of my videos. But for example, this pro MLMer that watches me, she had a video that she talked about why she's pro MLM. And it got to the point where she had to turn off commenting because it was starting to get to a point of, it was cyberbullying. That's what it was. And I don't agree with that. I think that there is a way to have a civil discussion. We are all adults here. And I think that we can talk it out. We can see, why do you feel the way that you do? Why do you think that the MLM is good? Or on the flip side, why am I anti-MLM? Do I have facts that back up what I say? Does the pro MLMer have facts that back up what they say? So that's why I don't agree with some of these things. But again, to each their own. I have no control over what anybody does. I only have control over what I do and what I decide to put out into the world. So I guess that's just a lot of things that you should know about the anti-MLM community, or just things of my opinion. I don't condone bullying of any kind, whether it be bullying anti-MLM people or bullying pro-MLM people, because I've seen MLM reps also bully anti-MLMers, and I don't condone bullying of any sort. I really don't. But I hope that this video kind of helped a little bit. But again, I do encourage you to do your own research. Do your own research. Don't just take my word for it. Don't become an MLM rep following their upline. Don't do that. Always do your own research. Have critical thinking. And if you have something that you don't agree with me on, or if you have your own thoughts, I'm all up to hear what your comments and what your thoughts are. So make sure to leave all of that in the comment section below. I'm sorry this video is so long. Thank you so much for watching this video, and thanks so much for coming to my channel. Thank you so much to all of you guys who watch my videos for free, my channel members, my patrons, all of that, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Monica reporting to you live from a highway. Bye!